Today we ask whether or not the European Union will continue to exist in 5 years' time. Now, asking such a question as recently as 5 years ago would have been unheard of. But today a set of circumstances exists that raise a genuine question over the future of the EU. Following Brexit and the election of Donald Trump, a feeling of change is clearly in the air. As the UK's left-leaning Guardian conceded this week, across the Western democracies, the centre of political gravity shifts erratically but inexorably to the right. Now, the short answer is that no one can predict the future with any sustainable accuracy. But it is helpful and informative to estimate the probabilities of certain scenarios and understand how these probabilities aggregate together. The next two most significant European political events in our view are this Sunday's Italian constitutional referendum and next year's French presidential election. We isolate these two events for the following reasons. Number one, each event could set in motion a path to national EU membership referendums. And two, France and Italy are so large that the EU would unlikely survive an exit of either of these two nations. In France, candidate Marine Le Pen has vowed to call an EU membership referendum if elected. Now, the current market probability of her winning is 25%, and assuming a 50% chance of a leave vote, similar to Britain, then the probability of the end of the EU from France alone is about 12.5%. Now, under the current leadership of Italy, there is little chance of an EU membership referendum being called, but Prime Minister Renzi has staked his future on a successful outcome of this Sunday's constitutional referendum. If he loses, this could send the country to new elections. While it's not guaranteed, we estimate a 48% chance of new Italian elections in a world in which the referendum fails. Under this scenario, we then give the Five Star Party movement about a 70% chance of an election victory, giving them enough power to call an EU membership referendum, as they have vowed to do. Now again, assuming a 50% chance of a leave vote, we result in about an 8% probability that Italy will leave the EU in a world in which the referendum fails on Sunday. Now, this doesn't sound like much, but remember, these probabilities are essentially additive. So as we stand here today, prior to the Italian referendum, the EU has a 12.5% chance of failure from France alone. But if Sunday's referendum fails, then this 12.5% jumps to 20% in our estimation. Very quickly, you can see how a low probability event can increase in probability over time in light of new information. And given the significant consequences of such an event, investors need to incorporate these probabilities into their analysis. We believe we have done exactly this, and we believe our global funds remain very well prepared for these potential scenarios.